Hey everybody, I hope you're doing good. I'm going to relax. I'm going to be having a conversation here with my spirit guides. This is a food for the soul kind of conversation. I've been wanting to share more since I've posted that video on Archangel Lucifer and Jesus, Satan, Silent Hill story, etc. I feel like there's some depth to the energy and what's happening in the world today, and the conversation about the madness and the illumination. And we break under the weight of the madness that is actually guiding us to our illumination, which is what Archangel Lucifer represents. I talked a little bit about Satan, which I was surprised when I went and visited Satan. I was surprised. I mean, how are you supposed to know who Satan is if you don't go visit Satan? You know, how are we supposed to know who anybody or anything is if we don't actually explore it? You can explore it in books, but I find that the human race, we're so caught up in the ego understanding of things, the logic understanding of things, that we're denying ourselves something so precious as the depth of understanding. That doesn't have to have a yes or no or a black or white interpretation, so it's easy. Because there's so much vastness, there's so much infinite truth. And where it is yes, it is also no. And I find that the world we're losing our grip on the fabric of what creates the foundation of understanding for all the right reasons. And so we're in the madness right now. I was thinking about this, Archangel Lucifer, the Antichrist concept. Or is it Archangel Lucifer is the Antichrist? Or is it the madness that is the Antichrist? The madness then influences you to behave in what way? There's Satan, who is absorbing then your soul into that energy concept of what Satan is. So for me to go explore what is Satan, and go visit Satan as though Satan is a person, I experience Satan having a higher self. Isn't that interesting? So Satan is just living Satan's life, just in an incarnate state, functioning the way Satan does. But what is Satan? I experience Satan as basically a cosmic entity, a being that was following through with its nature to absorb the life force energy of whatever it came across. So now here it is, absorbing the life force energy of us. What a great place to eat. Here, planet Earth. So that influence is influencing us to let go of our very souls. What inspires us to let go of our very soul? When we start to lie out of convenience. And then we manipulate ourselves into saying the lie is actually a good idea. It's going to help people. It's going to guide people. The lie is. Or here I am the savior. I'm protecting you from yourself. That's a lie. That's Antichrist energy. So I'm looking at the world and I'm saying, wow, what am I seeing here? And I didn't necessarily want to regurgitate the conversation. I just wanted to go from here, okay? To go somewhere from here. I feel like I need to go somewhere from here, and I'm not sure where it is that I need to go. So I was gonna just relax and pause for a minute. Right now, I'm in between being human, and I'm in between then connecting with the universe, so I can hear from the universe inspiration. So little do you know, you're channeling from the universe all the time. But what are you channeling? What frequency are you working with? So are you channeling from the essence of yourself? Are you channeling from the essence of the divine, or the essence of the Antichrist, or what? What are you channeling through you? So right now I'm stilling the pond of my essence. So once you learn as a human being, the more silent you are, the more that you will be able to hear beyond yourself, and the more that you can explore what is beyond yourself. So for me to gather information from the universe, I don't hear it in my mind, in my ego. It's too vulnerable. I hear it through, I filter it through here. But how it how I experience it is I'm stepping into the message. And so if you open the book and you let your mind wander, you can see the characters and you can read the story and you can kind of watch it from the movie of your mind, right? So it's that step. That step right there is a psychic ability. And nobody says that, okay? So your creative ability gives you access to an infinite universe full of information. But it's the logic that filters through it and decides what's going to give us a strong foundation in our world. And so that's important, that I like to remind people of this, okay? So if I still the pawn of myself, then I'm silencing everything that's human about me. And now I can explore things like, well, what is Satan? Who is Satan? What does Satan represent? You know, and then all I do is to access the cosmic library, I still the pawn in myself because I have no idea what the answer is. Not because I read it in some book and, oh, this tells me everything I need to know. Well, who wrote that freaking book? How did they get that information? Because what told them? You know, what inspired them to say those things? Well, I'm kind of wanting to figure this out for myself here. I want to explore what it means to me. So I'm writing a new book, you know? So I'm sharing it in a new way. It's a video book. It's just YouTube is my video library. And got to do a better job of organizing it. I just say the next thing and it goes out there. And it's like a messy room or something. But I still the pawn, okay? And then I go into the book, which is the creative world reveals itself around me, and then I explore what it is sharing with me, not because I thought it there, but because it presented itself in response to what I was asking for. The universe will always respond to you. So what would you like to know about? Now sit in the silence. Now sit with your creativity, okay? It's creativity, it's love, it's fear, it's anxiety, it's all that you are. You're just sitting in the stillness, but you're allowing that then to come to you and then show you the answer, which might not be much of an answer, but it's going to show you something. Now you step into that space. What is the first thing that it's revealing to you? What does this space look like to you? All right, I feel like I need to go into a dark place that has something to do with the human race, so I can wiggle this. There's this density that we're digesting and we're clearing it, and we're going to be animated however we're animated, but it's clearing out and it's going to take time. But I'm going to go to a space where I can be of service to the goal, which is to support humanity during this time, to find peace, okay? Which is, the peace is what is present with us. I did that video, the authentic me, the awkward authentic me. Yeah, I did that video. And part of the message that comes through the channeling was that we've ascended to a world of peace. But we're not familiar with the world of peace, and therefore we're reacting to it. However, we're reacting until we acclimate to the peace. So we have to get this out of our sense system. We're going through this weird venting stage. All right, so here I am, the navigator of Silent Hill, and the lost souls, the benevolent angels, I'm seeking to find what has fallen into the rot, and so I can support healing that and releasing that back into the light, because we're all impacted by it. Whether consciously or subconsciously, we're all impacted by it. Our souls are impacted by it. We're animated by what is unresolved here. We need to clean up the mess. It's not just cleaning up the physical mess, it's cleaning up the etheric mess, okay? So I'm going to pause, and then you can clean up the mess with me, and then maybe learn something here on how you can participate in receiving messages from the universe yourself. I already did see, that's why Satan has a higher self. That means Satan is on an incarnate state journey. Do you think Satan is bigger and more powerful than you? Satan is just like you. It's a soul on a journey, okay? Doing what the soul does at its own dimensional plane that's impacting our plane of existence. Doesn't that put things into a weird perspective? That I saw Satan was already ascended. And if you haven't reconciled your soul, you're going with Satan. And that's going to be the next journey for you. Because you're going to have to find yourself, or find yourself in alignment with that collective. I mean, that's just a big belly. You don't want to be absorbed into that big belly. It makes a lot of sense why the whole pandemic happened, and that awoken something. That it needed to be awoken, right? It needed to wake up. That we needed to fall asleep or wake up from it or be absorbed into it, or however it was going to impact our world, because we're entering into this new phase. What's the new phase? All I know is what I collect along the way, puzzle pieces of a bigger picture. I'll be doing this for the rest of my life. Will I be able to see the answers in black and white? I wish. All I can tell you is the tidbits that I gather. And maybe it's monumental, but it's not monumental for me. Like, maybe it's monumental outside of myself, but for me, it's not. I haven't put my finger on it yet. Maybe I have. I'm not able to tell. Okay. I'm going to go into a space that's going to alleviate the pressure, and it's going to empower all of us. Whether you've watched the video, you haven't watched the video, it's going to empower the world, because we impact the world. I mean, everything that we do, it impacts the world. So let's say I have no idea who you are. You live in a country I've never been to, and this is your life that I don't even know what it is. You're impacting me. So every human being that lives a life, we are impacting each other. So even if your life maybe it seems mundane and is sort of in a narrow path with very few freedoms, you're impacting people with great freedom and people with many things that they can do with their time. So you're impacting them too. We are all impacting each other. You are powerful. I am powerful. We are all powerful beings here. And nobody is more powerful than anybody else. So is Jesus above me? Jesus is more powerful than me, or Jesus is my equal? Is Satan more powerful than me, or Satan is my equal? So in the spirit realm, we have the freedom to talk to each other, inhale and exhale the conversation, and move on with our lives. It's all just a neutral exchange, a loving exchange, a exchange of respect, or wow, wake up, frequency-wise, you're lying to yourself. Whatever, we're impacted by each other, and we have the freedom to express ourselves as equals. And I give reverence to those souls that really move me. Like, if I stand in the presence of Archangel Metatron, I am instantly on my knees, like basking in this awe. Like, dang, you're awesome. I can't help it. I'm still equal with Metatron, but I'm still respectful. Like, what it takes to create a Metatron is pretty freaking extraordinary, okay? So I can't help but be in reverence of that. But energetically, Satan was childish, very, very childish, and very innocently childish. And we're being absorbed into a big childish belly. That's really pathetic. I mean, that's the truth. But on the energy side of things, everything is part of the learning, okay? We're all in value and respect of one another, because we can't have these experiences without each other. You see how that works? So I'm going to relax here and stare off into space. I'm asking, okay, I'm talking to the universe, but I'm talking to Archangel Lucifer about the madness, about the silent hill, about the world today, about the Antichrist concept, because people are going to sound like they know what they're talking about and they are the protectors, but they are actually lying to themselves, to the world, and they're protecting their insecurities. They're holding on to having been absorbed into Satan's belly, basically, and then trying to manipulate as many people as possible to do the exact same thing. So we could be quite lost souls here. But that's okay, because you're going to go where you're meant to go. But make sure to find your ground. And don't believe everything you hear. Life is not about the black and white or the answers or this is the way it is. It's just finding your soul. Life is about being one with your essence and sharing the authentic experience as best you know, what it means to you at this time. Because this is what it means to me now, but tomorrow might mean something different. And ask questions. Always ask questions. Okay, well, if this person is evil, what if this person was actually good? And I'm told that they're evil. Okay, if I were to see them as a good person instead of an evil person, the way I'm told to think of them, how would that change my relationship with reality? That is a wonderful journey to take. Start turning things inside out and explore what echoes back, what it means to you. In order to navigate the world today and all its madness, you find your ground, you let all the energy be what it is, and you explore what it means to you, and you just stay authentic and true to your heart. Easy. Here we go. Okay, Archangel Lucifer. I want to heal an etheric space that our world is crying out for hope here with this one. And perhaps I can feel it too. I just don't know how to understand what it is I'm picking up on here. So I'm just going to start with the best that I know at this time and my skills and where I can go in the dark places to heal these places and to talk about what I see, because this is the new library, right? This is information here, perhaps shared in a way that the world's never heard of it, or it's been lost in time if it ever was present. It's safe to go into dark places, and it's safe to touch the wounded there. It's safe. I feel, okay, this is the scene that's presented to me. I'm standing in a very neutral space. So neutral is, there is no right or wrong about it. It just is presented. It's kind of like I'm looking at a poster on a wall and it means nothing to me. It's just, oh, it just looks like this. So this space is black. And then there's this extremely long reel, all right, with lots of like flat screen TVs, okay, with a lot of TV shows, basically. So it's just, and perhaps the story of this person, the story of that person. It's just a very, very, very long thing. And it starts to become a pathway. It's not just on the wall, it's some path, okay, a path of the many stories. And so now I'm walking on the flat screen TVs and I'm on this path of the many stories, okay? And the black and the neutral. And then Archangel Lucifer asked me, how will I impact the stories? Because I have to have feelings. I have to react. And there's something here that I'm separating myself from feeling something about this, that I have to allow myself to feel in order then to accomplish the goal that I seek to accomplish, that I can't fully understand, okay? So I'm starting from a place and expressing myself the best that I know how, and then I wait for the learning to appear to me. I wait for the information, and then I navigate it in order to know thyself, in order to make a difference as I feel fit within my heart, okay? So I'm teaching you how to do the same thing, because it's going to change your life. To do this that I do is going to change your life. It will heal you, okay? And it will expand your perception of the world, and it will give you peace, all right? But it won't always come with all the answers. So it will help you to let go of ego that requires the answer. I say, okay, I'm going to become one with this, and I will accept that I haven't learned how. I'll let this teach me how. And by becoming one with this path of the many stories, I will let then becoming one with the path then teach me how to feel what I need to feel in order to understand how to go deeper than this, or whatever it is I'm meant to do from here. He says, no, just choose one story and then enter into it. And he says it's going to feel like you just cleaned up a crumb from the house of a hoarder. But that crumb makes all the difference, because it takes one crumb at a time to change the world. To change the house of the hoarder, it just takes one crumb at a time. It will clean up the mess with patience. Okay. Remember that too. One crumb at a time will change your life. I immediately fall into the very first screen, and it's like a sitcom. It's about a family, and it feels kind of fake, but we can all relate to it, and it's a bit goofy. There's deep stories here that we could relate to, and it helps us build a relationship with the characters. But it's really not building a relationship with the characters in our own life. This really is TV. Now I'm starting to understand what the lack of emotion. I'm living in a sitcom. These people aren't actually married. These aren't actually their children. This isn't actually the real reality. It's a story. And now I understand this pathway of the stories is TV. It's the pathway of TV. The pathway of the stories. The pathway of false reality. And I say, well, what about the pathway of every fiction book ever written? I mean, is false reality? It's just, or it's fantasy? Like, what am I doing? Isn't this the same thing? I mean, couldn't you say that I am gathering a story to tell? Is this based on reality? Yes, same thing. It's like the sitcom's based on reality. So I'm challenging him with this. He says it's not. Because I'm not speaking from a script. I'm not told what to say and then animating myself to say it in order. It's still ego. It has to have the depth of heart. It has to have craft. Care. He tells me to shatter all the TVs. And now where's our focus? And then I challenge him again and I say, well, what's the point if here I am, literally, potentially blown up on people's big screens who are listening to me. And so you're telling me then to shatter their very connection with me, because if all TVs are shattered, then my role as this person then is shattered too. So that all then would be shattered. Like all our connection then with each other through a screen then would be shattered. Because what's the difference between TV and cell phone? Then would be shattered. He asked me, how would I explain this? All right, you're in your car and you're listening to music. And where are you? To the human being, I'm in my car and I'm listening to music. No, where are you? You are in the music or wherever the music takes you, or you're staring off into space, or you're thinking about where you're going to that you don't want to be or you do want to be. So where are you? Are you in the car listening to the music, or are you somewhere else? Okay. I'm going to just start by shattering the screens and see what comes next. Because he's alluding to a point. And I can tell he's alluding to a point, but I don't know how to navigate that conversation yet. So I'm just going to start by shattering the screens, and then we'll figure out the next thing. All right, this is an example of what happens when you choose to sit in the stillness and then you seek to explore the reflection, okay? You have a right to ask questions of what echoes back to you, but you are in a conversation with that frequency, with that energy. So that energy and you are communicating and then learning about something. So this is a mystery. I had the impression that I was going to be going into a dark energy space to release perhaps lost souls from a purgatory, but I don't get to decide where the message goes, okay? I just get to be part of the train ride, and this is what you get. But we learn something from it. Okay. I shatter all this, the stories on the screens. And it's just this broken road of TVs. It's just a road of broken TVs. Who would ever walk on this? It's just shattered TVs. He just wants me to stand here and look at it. I see nothing growing. The ground has dirt. Just dirt and one TV after another, all the same size, all shattered screens for miles. I just see miles of shattered TVs. He's talking about the broken stories now. He's talking about the broken stories that we aren't listening to. He's talking about how we're engaged in the next series. We're not listening to the authentic stories of the people around us. He says that's the difference. Because I represent an authentic story of the people around you. There is me, okay? So I'm expressing from a place of my authenticity. And he says there's far more that I'm not saying about my real stories. And I tell him, well, I'm not sure what I am sometimes. Am I a teacher? Am I supposed to talk like... there was something that grinded my gears. It was when the selfie stick came out. And I saw people self-absorbed, like everywhere, like taking a picture and posing and then sending it off. And I found it terrifying, to be honest. And then I bought a selfie stick because I thought, okay, cool, I could take a walk and then I could do these videos and I could walk, and I never really did. Honestly, making videos while you're walking and then bam, there's somebody walking, coming towards you. It's a little strange. So I feel like for me to become the selfie stick person, I can't ever be that, because I renounce that. But then that would be the me that would tell you about my life, then, as though I need to be important in that way, because I need to be heard. And then I'm not really sure what this whole phenomenon means to me. Even just me sitting in this chair, turning on record, sharing this video, I don't know how to understand what this being this person means to me. Okay, like the way that I have to then be a participant in the world in this what feels like a narcissist type scenario where I'm the center of this conversation and you should listen to what I have to say. It's like I don't know how to relate to that. But yet my heart says you need to sit down and do this. So and then I do this. Then I also don't really like talking about myself all the time. I don't know. He's showing me a child is stepping towards me. Says this is a reality TV. But it's not because it was put on a script or we hired the right actors and actresses to play these reality roles. They're just people. And he wants me to talk about what I see. And this child approaches me and my heart, it feels really sad. It's like forgotten children. The forgotten children. The world is so wrapped up, and we're not thinking about the children of our world. Like they don't know anything but what we provide them to know, but they pull it from inside themselves, but they're trying to figure out their path. And how are we helping them to to navigate a world that has gone mad. Like, they're gonna have to figure it out. But this is deeper than I can formulate in words. This is freaking so deep. I don't know where to begin. Okay, let me see. Right now I'm just looking at the child, and I'm inhaling and exhaling this raw feeling, this living energy that makes me sad. The first thing that comes to mind, this would be my personal story, which I talked a little bit about, is that it's going to be hard to talk about. So I've had, this would be my fourth child, okay? So I've had 3 kids, and then I had a 4th child that was born stillbirth out of my personal decision, okay? And I'm 41, I'm almost 42, and my husband is 55. And did you know that to have a child with a chromosomal issue, you have a 96% chance, even at our age, to have a healthy child? We talked to geneticists about this. And we are finally in a place in our life where we could explore that, because our life has been so impossibly hard that we found some ground to say, you know what, if we're gonna have a child, let's do this. And so I was pregnant, and I was somewhere around 6 to 7 months pregnant, because it's kind of confusing how the baby was born 3 pounds. Baby weighed 3 pounds when it was born, but they couldn't really tell the age because of the ultrasound. It was so underdeveloped, okay? So it's kind of strange, because I had skin cancer at the same time as I was pregnant. And this was like this great joy, and your whole life becomes revolved around what your future is going to look like now having a newborn baby. So you buy things to prepare, and you get excited about it. And because of everything that has gone so incredibly upside down with my immigration process, I didn't have any healthcare, medical coverage or anything. The means to pay this out of pocket would have been substantial. So I didn't feel any concern that I needed to, I was just gonna have the baby, just like do it old fashioned, just have the baby. And because you don't have to have all this medical support. I mean, you have the baby, you could have a medical support at that time, but it's just all these extra things, you know? So I would just, go with the flow. I'm just gonna do this. Well, anyway, somewhere around, 6, 7 months, finally, okay, I got all the checkups done, and everything was 100% great till the ultrasound, which took an hour and a half and 2 people, and they weren't going to say a word. What they were seeing. They were going to send this to the doctor, and then the doctor would let us know. Well, we find out, this is a long story short, we find out that the baby has trisomy 13, which means the brain is not developed, the heart does not develop, the liver, the kidneys, like everything, the genitals, everything about the baby is not developed. So it would be cruel to give birth to a child that is not going to be able to survive on its own in the world, like to such a severe degree that it might not even survive being born, might not survive the first 2 weeks of life, might not survive the first year of life. And then what kind of surgeries just to get the mouth corrected so that it could properly eat, so the horror of it, right? And the horror, you have 2 parents who are welcoming a child into this world, aren't allowed to have this child, And you sit there knowing that you're going to be sticking a needle into this living form to euthanize it, which is the kind way of putting it, but you basically saying, I have to put the dog down, I have to put the baby down. And then you go through the process of giving birth. So So when Archangel Lucifer shows me this is real TV. I mean, I'm telling you real life story here. And so I have to sit with that, and I'm not someone I'm someone who, I'm going to embrace how painful this emotionally is and how shocking this is. And I'm going to go through this because I have no choice. I have to go through this. You can't just not go through these things. You have to see it all the way through. You have to make decisions, and then you have to see it all the way through. That was the decision that was right for Joe and I. But it's horrifying. The whole thing is horrifying. And so here I am this year with the echo that I could have a newborn baby in my life, and there is no newborn baby. So grief, right? Like grief is this thing that you experience when you build the biological connection, and now the baby isn't there. And I'm all for life, okay? I'm a pro-life person. And I feel society needs to support families where society is not supporting families. That is a mistake. Families are the essence of what creates a country that is then a healthy country with healthy children, creates a strong country and with strong-minded people to then lead that country. But the world that has gone mad is it's almost like damning the families and damning the children, and then taking the children from the parents and saying the parents, aren't going to raise the children appropriately. Like I'm dumbfounded by how Canada seems to believe that Canada knows better than the parents of the children. That's dangerous to me. But that's reality, right? We're talking about reality here. Archangel Lucifer is saying, let's shatter all the reality TV and get back to reality. Because the true pathway to enlightenment comes from reality and listening to real, raw people talking. There was a time where I was trying to get a feel for what we digest information, okay? So we digest the information, and the information makes us who we are. So sometimes we digest things that probably, like that's garbage TV. That's like eating too much ice cream or something and thinking you're going to become a healthy person from it. So I was watching this guy who just chugs stuff. And the obsession with this, just to watch somebody chug this pop. And I'm looking at this guy, I'm looking at this guy's success in life, and I'm looking at what this guy's doing, and I'm looking at what the human race is seeking, the information they're seeking to digest, and how he's inspiring other people to want to do the same so they could go viral just by chugging a bunch of stuff, because going viral is the authentic way to live these days versus just being yourself. So I'm looking at this, and I noticed that once the pandemic hit, people, it's almost like there was some kind of weird phenomena. It's like the selfie stick turned into the viral video, okay? So if you could find a way to make the viral video, that was the thing, all right? It's still the thing. But I find it so unfulfilling. Find it so shallow, so hollow. That's the soul-sucking concept. That's the Satan concept. But don't people have a right to watch some garbage TV every now and then? Don't people have a right to? I don't see why not. But what is the point of our life? What is the point of living? You die and you get to look at your life, and you were just sitting there eating popcorn and digesting reality TV, which was just garbage, and that's what you accomplished. Like, were we born to do what? We were born to do what, okay? So I'm returning to this image, and it reminds me of Sebastian. That's the name that we gave our child, and this was just in October. I mean, this was just a few months ago. And my life is always insane. So just a few months ago, like I was pregnant, and then I had to go through this thing, and then now we're trying to transition from one place into another place. And so we're moving. And then here I'm traveling for 2 months, and then here I'm like, I just, It's like I'm constantly in another whirlpool. And it's like, how do I collect myself in the midst of this? I just keep going with the flow. But some point you have to stop and say, who am I now? I've been going with the flow of so many whirlpool events in my life. It's hard to know where I've landed. I feel like it's now time to find out who I am. I thought I knew who I was, but now it's time for me to find out who I am. And I don't know even what that means. Aren't I the person that does healing for the world, or talks about what I see, or shares wisdom? Aren't I that person? Like, what person am I guided to be now? I thought that was this person. So maybe I'm still the same person, and just maybe somehow new to the process. I don't know. That's why I keep saying something feels new, but I don't know. The way it presents itself to me, it's almost like I'm geared up for the Olympics, and I'm supposed to swim this because I could win the gold medal. But I have never trained to be an Olympic swimmer. So how that world am I standing in front of this thing I'm supposed to do that I don't know what it feels really extreme, confusing, and I don't know how I got here, and I'm supposed to be getting a gold medal now, and I don't even know what the skills are, but apparently I have the skills that I didn't know that I had. None of it makes any sense. That's what the energy feels like to me. That's my own madness, because I can't seek to translate it, but I guess it starts here, shattering the reality TV and coming back to what is the real stories. The real stories. So this reminds me of Sebastian. But it also reminds me of kids. Life you have to learn something in life. So whether that's math, whether that's reading, you have to learn something. You're going to have to learn a skill. Otherwise, how are you going to animate yourself in life? And so education is important to me. But what is the education? You have to learn a skill to the best of your ability so that you have some pride in yourself and the work that you can achieve in your life. You can do something with your life. I feel like there's so many misled endeavors here, and then misguiding children. I don't feel like I found the right language even when saying that. This could also be about abortions in general, even aborting healthy children because you just don't want to be a parent. It's about society and how there's a real imbalance in society when it comes to raising children, families, and even divorced families. It's a really lopsided. It doesn't honor what is best for the child. It just creates suffering for everybody. And it's all government, it's all political. I know Lucifer asked me if I understand what was the emotion that I hadn't developed a relationship with yet. And where he would be guiding me to go. I tell him I do get it, and I haven't developed the emotion quite yet. I feel like there's some odd resistance, and it might be the same resistance that I have in knowing how to relate to this event with Sebastian and what is grief. And then because I choose to be a lot more neutral about it than sad about it. Being sad about it is not going to help me get anything done in life, so I just choose to move forward. But somehow Sebastian is a key ingredient that I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what it means to me. And on some level that I'm supposed to know what it means to me. Anyway, maybe this is all I can do for now. Lucifer asked me a challenging question. He asked me, where's the Satan in this circumstance? I need to sit with this for a minute, I say. So this boy who's like 3 years old is looking at me. Healthy 3-year-old boy. And there's this pathway of broken TVs. And I'm sitting down, still trying to conjure up the emotion for a deeper place, having to do with the theme of children, having to do with the theme of families, or even broken homes, abortion, having to do with these concepts, having to do with regurgitating like the viral video versus the real true stories, what brings out the best in human nature. So I'm sitting here looking for the Satan concept, because it's like, I mean, it proves that we didn't come here for an easy time. It proves we came here to be challenged. I say, I know where it is. I can tell where it is in here. It creates ultimate confusion, mass confusion. It creates separation from love. It creates the inability to realize what I'm denying. I can't understand what I'm denying myself. So it makes it hard for me to truly be my full benevolence. That's why Jesus is such an important ingredient. Because Jesus represents that pathway of benevolence, and we need constant reminders because we're always shrouded in the belly of the beast, so to speak. And so I've created separation from the spirit of Sebastian because I'm trying to live a human life. When the Satan inspiration is to do such a thing, right? That is the inspiration, but the pain does it too. The pain creates separation. The pain creates separation. And that pain also inspires us it's almost like to be lost in who we are, or lost in our value. And we get distorted and confused, and it creates, it's like the infected human, you could say. They can't tell anymore because they become so neutral. They turned on the off button, because they just can't just feel the Christ within them, They just can't be present with their own soul. They don't know what to do anymore. So they do based upon what protects them, which is like greed. It's like what animates us to protect ourselves, to care about ourselves first and nobody else. We lose touch with the value of each other. And TV is somehow a scam. He asked me how, what is the Satan in the selfie stick? What is the Satan in this recording? What is the Satan in Abbey? What is the Satan in our food? Or what is the Satan in our, it's just starts to be, what is the Satan in our music, in our cars, or in our society? Are you paying attention? Are you looking? Are you watching? Are you present? Where are you? Where are you? He says. And you're driving your car and listening to that music. Where are you? Are you paying attention? Where are you in life? Are you living? Where are you in your difficult moments? He hugs me because we feel pain. So when we're animated by pain, how are then we animated by our our highest vibration, is so the pain takes over and gives us the answers, which then we could withdraw. And he says that what I seek to do is mend and heal the pain within our collective. And he shows me this open door, and he says that he hopes I'll continue this journey with him. He's basically saying this is the message for now, and that he recommends I proceed through that door, and that my intention is to heal the pain in our collective, and he'll guide me to the next thing. He also tells me, where's the Satan in how I am influenced to talk about things or not talk about things. And because I feel the presence of the Satan, then that doesn't, it almost, it tries to shatter me for being who I am. Because it can't actually allow itself to hear anything that is authentic and from a place of a humble honesty. It needs to be animated by something neutral and emotionless and soulless. And so it puts me in a corner oftentimes where I need to come out, is what he's saying, and just say what I need to say. And he's telling you that I actually sat down to try to continue this conversation, and I was going to call it How to Channel Satan. Mainly because, well, it's an interesting thing to say that nobody would say, really. Naturally, people would conclude I was some kind of Satan worshiper if I would say such a thing, because they wouldn't stop to actually listen. They would just jump to conclusions. And I would do it because I know people automatically jump to conclusions, and that annoys me. People don't even know what Satan is. And people would not have the gall to even try to attempt to know what Satan is, or who Satan is, or what Satan represents. And how are we supposed to heal the infection if we don't want to look at it? If we don't want to go visit it in all its ugliness or all of its goodness, because this is happening for all the right reasons. Everything happens for all the right reasons. Even what happened with Sebastian happened for all the right reasons. And I'm going to say one more thing. There was this interesting message that came from this final exploration with leprechauns on my Patreon community. And the message was, today's your lucky day. And if you were to sit with that statement every day, not just one day, but 365 days, that today is your lucky day. You wake up and you say, today's my lucky day. Today's my lucky day. Today's my lucky day. And then today is your lucky day. Today is your lucky day. And even if you get a flat tire, you were lucky enough to get that flat tire. You know, I was lucky enough to explore this pregnancy, and I was lucky enough for it to be a trisomy 13, and I was lucky enough to get to explore then terminating the pregnancy, and lucky enough to know what it's like to have a stillbirth, and I was lucky enough to go through all this. I was lucky enough for it, right? And I just find that like a fascinating thing to say, and a fascinating concept. I don't know, it's just the final thing that I wanted to say. So, the next video, I'll be going through an open door with Archangel Lucifer to heal the pain in our collective. And I suppose this message is just the next message in a series of messages. Hope you found this worth your while. Thank you for listening. Just giving you a hug. I think we all need more hugs. All right. I'm going to say it. If I can help you in a session, I do this for a living. You can ask me anything and I will go visit the frequencies around what you're exploring, experiencing, the best that you can define it. And we'll take a look and see what it looks like, harmonize that energy and empower your life. If you would like that experience with me, you can book a session at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. And for those of you who say you can't afford a session with me, I re-looked at my pricing and I'm offering a reduced price for those who want an audio recorded session. I want my door to be open to people at different price points. So check it out, give yourself a gift, let yourself receive some light and some support from an authentic person. You're helping me by booking a session, I am helping you by seeing what I can do with my skills to empower your life. And so we both win. Also, if you're interested in exploring my Patreon community, you're welcome. Everybody's welcome to come out there. There's 7 live stream events that I offer every month. New theme every month. You can explore my Patreon community at patreon.com/AbbeyNormalsWisdomQuest. Have an awesome day, everyone. And thank you again for watching.